Welcome back and good morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Matthew Trethui, and if someone was to ask me what's been the one thing that has changed my life for the better in recent times, I have to say is applying the success principle, take 100% responsibility for your life. And studies done by others also back up the importance of this principle. In their book, The Power of Focus, the three authors, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, and Les Hewitt, did a survey of 2,000 entrepreneurs. And they discovered that one of the key differences that separated the super successful entrepreneurs from the ones which weren't so successful was taking 100% responsibility for their lives and the results they created. Indeed, if you were to look throughout history at other super successful people, such as this person, you will also see that they understood how important it was to take full responsibility for your life. Winston Churchill once said, quote, "Responsibility is the price of greatness," end quote. Now, what's really, really important with this principle is that you act as if you are 100% responsible for your life. Because if a hugely unlikely outcome was to happen to you guys right now, such as a giant jet airplane came crashing into this room, badly injuring or maybe killing all of you right now, I would struggle to explain how you were responsible for that outcome to happen to you. So my invitation and my encouragement for you today is to act as if you are 100% responsible for your life. Because when you do that, as the studies have shown, and I can testify through my own experiences, your life works out much, much better. Now, thankfully, to teach this concept, to explain it to you, is really simple. There's a formula called E plus R equals O. And that stands for events plus your response equals the outcome that you create. And it's really simple. So just imagine you're at a party and someone comes up to you and offers you a slice of cake. That's the event. And your response is to accept that piece of cake and to eat it. And the outcome that you create from that is you gain some weight, which is undesirable for most people. Now, rewind that a little bit and change your response. Same event. Someone comes up to you, offers you a slice of cake. But this time you're going to say, "No, thank you. I'm watching my weight right now." And you don't eat it. And then you create a completely different outcome. Your weight stays the same. And for most people, that's a much more desirable outcome. Different responses produce different outcomes. Now, I have a question for you. And I want you to raise your hand high in the air like me. And I want you to be honest now. If you've... Wait for it. If you've ever blamed anybody for anything, raise your hands. Well, that's most people, if not all people. Okay. Now, I'm just curious. What do you blame, or who do you blame? Someone from this table. Who do you blame? Just shout it out.
My mother.
Your mother. Someone from this table.
My husband.
Your husband. Someone from this table.
My kids.
Kids. This table over here.
My boss.
Your boss. And this table over here.
The weather.
The weather. So we blame lots of other people, right? It could be family, it could be co-workers, it could be our boss, it could be the weather, it could be it could be organizations, governments, politicians, the list goes on and on and on. But blaming is simply a response to an event that is not going to produce anything useful. So one big part of taking 100% responsibility for your life is to give up all blaming. Now, I have another question for you. And again, I want you to put your hand right high in the air like this and be honest. If you've ever complained about anything in your entire life, raise your hand high up like this. I don't see any hands down apart from one or two. And they're probably not telling the truth if they're really honest themselves, okay? Now, again, complaining is just a response to an event, but it's not a response to produce anything useful. Now, think about complaining for a second. We don't complain about anything unless we have a reference point of something better that we're not willing to risk creating. Think about that. I come from the United Kingdom, the UK, right? Many people in the United Kingdom complain about the weather. Why would they do that? They complain because they know better weather exists in places like California, in places like Spain or Australia or even France. That's why they complain about the weather. So why don't they go and move to those places? I did. I went to Hong Kong. But most other people didn't do that. Why? Because it involves a risk. It's a risk to quit your job and go move to a new country. It's a risk to uproot yourself from your family and friends and move someplace new where you don't know many people. It's a risk to go to a different culture and learn a new language and integrate and start your life over again. And most people would not be willing to do that. They would rather complain than go and take a risk and create something better for themselves. Now, think about this. Why doesn't anyone complain about gravity?
Can't change it.
You can't change gravity. Gravity is what it is, right? We can't change it. Therefore, no one complains about it. But gravity can be a problem. If I take one more step forward, I'm going to fall off the stage. Just kidding. And if we trip up, we fall over and we injure ourselves. We don't complain about gravity, do we? Because we can't change it. One more thing about complaining. Who do we often complain to? Let me give you an example of that. So I go to my day job, I finish work, I drive home, and I'm having lunch with my partner, and I'm complaining about the people I work with. Who am I complaining to? I'm complaining to my partner. They can't do anything about the situation. The only person who can do anything about the situation is myself. But again, it involves a risk. I have to confront my co-workers, I have to confront my boss, or I might have to quit my job and get a new one. That's risky. And the fact is that most people would not be willing to do that. They'd rather complain than take the risk to create something better for themselves. Now, we do have the power to change our responses. Okay? This is really important. So, if we are not happy with the outcomes we are experiencing, we can change our responses until we produce something more better for ourselves. Let me give you an example of that. So, let's say I was to walk down stage and talk to my friend Jazz. Hi, Jazz. Now, I've been teaching, training people from all over the world, Europe, Asia, now North America, over 10 years, literally thousands of people. And since I've met you, from all the people I've worked with, you have to be the biggest jerk and idiot I've ever met in my entire life. Now, if I said that to Jazz and I meant it, how many of you think that would affect her self-esteem and it would go downwards? How many of you would think that? Yeah, a lot of hands, right? If you raised your hand, you just failed the first pop quiz on E+R=0. Because it's not what I said to Jazz, it's what Jazz said to herself after I said what I said. Now, Jazz can change her response. He could think, Matthew's come down towards me, he's drawn towards me, I'm a confident woman, I'm sitting in the front row, I'm a powerful person, I'm a successful person, maybe he's intimidated by me. Now, which way would her self-esteem go then? It would go up, right? So by changing her response, by changing her thoughts about what happened to the event, she's completely changed her outcomes. So, part of being 100% responsible for your life involves giving up all blaming, complaining, justifying, defending, and excuse-making. We only have control over three real responses. They are our thoughts, they are the images that we create from our thoughts, and they are our behavior, the actions and words that we say. So if you have a thought, and thoughts come and go, we don't know where they come from. If it's not going to serve you, let it pass. Or take your time and create your own thoughts, which will produce a better outcome. Positive thoughts are better than negative thoughts, obviously. Think about what you're visualizing. Create desirable visualizations in your mind of future events, not undesirable visualizations. And think about what you say and do to others, because that's going to create different outcomes. Think about how you interact with people, what you say to people. Words and language really, really important of how you communicate. And body language too. So, next up on stage in a moment is going to be Jen, and she's going to be taking you through some exercises to show how you all can take more responsibility for your life. So you can get the insights, you can get the ahas to think, yes, I can walk away today and go, I can be more responsible and be more successful in whatever it is you want to achieve. And I welcome onto the stage Jen.